You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. Nothing ever goes away until it has taught us what we need to know. Even if we run 100 miles an hour to the other side of the continent, we find the very same problem awaiting us when we arrive. If you have fear of some pain or suffering, you should examine whether there is anything you can do about it. If you can, there is no need to worry about it. If you cannot do anything, then there is also no need to worry. It is better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles. Then the victory is yours. It cannot be taken from you. However many holy words you read, however many you speak, what good will they do you if you do not act on upon them? The goal is not to be better than the other man, but your previous self. True change is within. Leave the outside as it is. Do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Real change in the world will only come from a change of heart. Do not let the behavior of others destroy your inner peace. All wrongdoing arises because of mind. If mind is transformed, can wrongdoing remain? As you breathe in, cherish yourself. As you breathe out, cherish all beings. A disciplined mind leads to happiness, and an undisciplined mind leads to suffering. The remedy is to look deeper and recognize that we human beings are physically, mentally and emotionally the same. As individuals, we can influence our own families. Our families can influence our communities, and our communities can influence our nation. If you find no one to support you on the spiritual path, walk alone. There is no companionship with the immature. It is not enough to be compassionate, we must act. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. If you want others to be happy, practice compassion. If you want to be happy, practice compassion. The true hero is one who conquers his own anger and hatred. If a problem can be solved, it will be. If it cannot be solved, there is no use worrying about it. Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. We need to learn to want what we have, not to have what we want, in order to get stable and steady happiness. It is under the greatest adversity that there exists the greatest potential for doing good, both for oneself and others. People take different roads seeking fulfillment and happiness. Just because they're not on your road doesn't mean they've gotten lost. If you think you are too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. You are the sky. Everything else, it's just the weather. It is very rare or almost impossible that an event can be negative from all points of view. Remember that sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. Just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. To understand everything is to forgive everything. No matter how hard the past, you can always begin again. Do not learn how to react, learn how to respond. The gift of truth excels all other gifts. Don't rush anything. When the time is right, it'll happen. Those who are free of resentful thoughts surely find peace. It is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. Day by day, be content with whatever you have and satisfied with whatever happens. Everything else will then fall naturally into place. To be a spiritual warrior, one must have a broken heart. Without a broken heart and the sense of tenderness and vulnerability, your warriorship is untrustworthy. We suffer because we want life to be different from what it is. We suffer because we try to make pleasurable what is painful, to make solid what is fluid, to make permanent what is always changing. We are always in transition. If you can just relax with that, you'll have no problem. Whatever we do lays a seed in our deepest consciousness, and one day that seed will grow. Ultimately, that is the definition of bravery, not being afraid of yourself. In the garden of gentle sanity, may you be bombarded by coconuts of wakefulness. It is our mind, and that alone, that chains us or sets us free. We cannot change the way the world is, but by opening ourselves to the world as it is, we may find that gentleness, decency and bravery are available, not only to us, but to all human beings. Mindfulness does not mean pushing oneself toward something or hanging on to something. It means allowing oneself to be there in the very moment of what is happening in the living process, and then letting go. It's possible to be completely enlightened, except with your family. This is bravery. Using the challenge of daily life to sharpen our mind and open our heart. Good and bad, happy and sad, all thoughts vanish into emptiness like the imprint of a bird in the sky. A great deal of the chaos in the world occurs because people don't appreciate themselves. We are threatened by the now, so we jump to the past or the future. If you want to be miserable, think of yourself. If you want to be happy, think of others. The best spiritual instruction is when you wake up in the morning and say, "I wonder what's going to happen today." And then carry that kind of curiosity through your life. Be kinder to yourself, and then let your kindness flood the world. There are no boundaries, only possibilities. The most outrageous thing we can do in this world is to accept what happens and fly with it. It isn't what happens to us that causes us to suffer. It's what we say to ourselves about what happens. Let difficulty transform you, and it will. In my experience, we just need help in learning how not to run away. Feel the feelings and drop the story. Our true nature is like a precious jewel. Although it may be temporarily buried in mud, it remains completely brilliant and unaffected. We simply have to uncover it. We are shaped by our thoughts. We become what we think. When the mind is pure, joy follows like a shadow that never leaves. Each step may seem to take forever, but no matter how uninspired you feel, continue to follow your practice schedule precisely and consistently. This is how we can use our greatest enemy, habit, against itself. All you need to know is that the future is wide open and you are about to create it by what you do. Inner peace begins the moment you choose not to allow another person or event to control your emotions. Once you overcome the hatred within your mind, you will discover that in the world outside, there is no longer any such thing as even a single enemy. We have a choice. We can spend our whole life suffering because we can't relax with how things really are, or we can relax and embrace the open-endedness of the human situation, which is fresh, unfixated, unbiased. When we are willing to stay even a moment with uncomfortable energy, we gradually learn not to fear it. If we allow our thoughts to arise and dissolve by themselves, they will pass through our mind as a bird flies through the sky, without leaving a track. Being satisfied with what we already have is a magical golden key to being alive in a full, unrestricted, and inspired way. Unless the inner forces of negative emotions are conquered, strife with outer enemies will never end. If you're determined to think of yourself as limited, fearful, vulnerable, or scarred by past experience, know only that you have chosen to do so. The opportunity to experience yourself differently is always available. I follow 4 dictates. Face it, accept it, deal with it, then let it go. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. We can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. One moment can change a day, one day can change a life, and one life can change the world. People deal too much with the negative, with what is wrong. Why not try and see positive things, to just touch those things and make them bloom? Whether one believes in a religion or not, and whether one believes in rebirth or not, there isn't anyone who doesn't appreciate kindness and compassion. Let us rise up and be thankful, for if we didn't learn a lot today, at least we learned a little. Do not encumber your mind with useless thoughts. What good does it do to brood on the past or anticipate the future? Remain in the simplicity of the present moment. Western laziness consists of cramming our lives with compulsive activity, so that there is no time at all to confront the real issues. Work out your own salvation. Do not depend on others. There is no fear for one whose mind is not filled with desires. If anything is worth doing, do it with all your heart. All that we are is the result of what we have thought. Do not look for a sanctuary in anyone except yourself. No one saves us but ourselves. No one can and no one may. We ourselves must walk the path. To live a pure, unselfish life, one must count nothing as one's own in the midst of abundance. A man is not called wise because he talks and talks again. But if he is peaceful, loving and fearless, then he is in truth called wise. If we fail to look after others when they need help, who will look after us? One who acts on truth is happy in this world and beyond. Wear your ego like a loose-fitting garment. What you are is what you have been. What you'll be is what you do now. When watching after yourself, you watch after others. When watching after others, you watch after yourself. There is nothing so disobedient as an undisciplined mind, and there is nothing so obedient as a disciplined mind. Give, even if you only have a little. Silence the angry man with love. Silence the ill-natured man with kindness. Silence the miser with generosity. Silence the liar with truth. Irrigators channel waters. Fletchers straighten arrows. Carpenters bend wood. The wise master themselves. Drop by drop is the water pot filled. Likewise, the wise man, gathering it little by little, fills himself with good. Even as a solid rock is unshaken by the wind, so are the wise unshaken by praise or blame. If you knew what I know about the power of giving, you would not let a single meal pass without sharing it in some way. The root of suffering is attachment. Meditate. Do not delay, lest you later regret it. Ceasing to do evil, cultivating the good, purifying the heart. This is the teaching of the Buddhas. Delight in meditation and solitude. Compose yourself, be happy. You are a seeker. Ardently do today what must be done. Who knows? Tomorrow, death comes. You, yourself, as much as anybody in the entire universe, deserve your love and affection. If you propose to speak, always ask yourself, is it true? Is it necessary? Is it kind? Stop. Stop. Do not speak. The ultimate truth is not even to think. Just as the great ocean has one taste, the taste of salt, so also this teaching and discipline has one taste, the taste of liberation. The one in whom no longer exist the craving and thirst that perpetuate becoming. How could you track that awakened one, trackless, and of limitless range? We are what we think. All that we are arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Endurance is one of the most difficult disciplines, but it is to the one who endures that the final victory comes. Long is the night to him who is awake. Long is a mile to him who is tired. Long is life to the foolish who do not know the true law. Whatever precious jewel there is in the heavenly worlds, there is nothing comparable to one who is awakened. Our life is shaped by our mind. We become what we think. Joy follows a pure thought like a shadow that never leaves. Like a fine flower, beautiful to look at but without scent. Fine words are fruitless in a man who does not act in accordance with them. Our theories of the eternal are as valuable as are those which a chick which has not broken its way through its shell might form of the outside world. An idea that is developed and put into action is more important than an idea that exists only as an idea.